a long range shot here that you can't really see, but there's our delivery on the end of the very long driveway backing in. So I gotta walk down there and talk to the guy, figure out how he wants to go about unloading it. So more later. Don't know if I'm going to get to film unloading it because I'm probably going to be driving it. So alright, so we're out here home early from work today. Supposed to be getting a delivery, but in the meantime, while we're waiting, it should be here. Watch went dead, so I can't tell what time it is, but it should be here shortly. In the meantime, we got a ramp we got to fix, and if you look around carefully, you'll notice there's some snow on some stuff around here. We got our first snow this past weekend, Monday actually, and it looks like the oats are finally starting to turn here. They got bit by the frost one too many times and they're going to bed for the winter, so we're going to come in here and do something with them. Combine still needs to be tarped. The snow should all melt on it. It's supposed to be back up in the 50s again this weekend, so at least the snow should melt. And then we'll have to tarp that, probably put some sort of structure under the tarp, and then we can park it for the winter. Try and keep some of the snow out of the hopper and stuff, and we need to open the elevators up on the bottom so that stuff doesn't collect in them. So, but I got a ramp I got to fix, so I'm going to get started on that, and we'll see when the delivery shows up. Alright, so this is the project we're working on. This ramp. So, something too heavy was driven over it. It's from one of our landlords. Has got a trailer that we borrowed to try and move a piece of equipment. Turns out it was a little heavy for the ramp. So when it came back off, well, it was a little heavy for the truck, and we didn't end up hauling it. But when it came off the truck, it came down on this side of the ramp, and not that side of the ramp, that side of the ramp, and bent it. So had this over at the fab shop, one of my co-workers, and he put relief cuts in it, straightened it back out on his table, and welded it up. I went to start painting it last night so that it is, nice and painted when we return it, and found out that he's got good penetration on the welds. I mean, he welded this from the other side, so we've got weld bead here, so it made it all the way through. But on the back side of these here, there's still, you can see the saw cuts. So I'm going to go through, just lay a bead of weld down on top of that to fill it in, and then grind it down flat so that it looks good. And then resume the painting on it. So I got to work on that in the meantime while we're waiting for this truck to show up. So that's what we're doing. Back in the tractor with load all the way down the driveway. So I guess it's a little better than loading on the road. And I'm not sure he would have turned it around in our yard. It would have been close. So he's just backing it all the way down. The driveway is like a quarter mile. He's doing pretty good. Tractor's here. Getting unstrapped. Take it off the trailer. And it's ours. And it's officially ours. Alright, it's off the trailer. He's hooking back up. As predicted, I didn't film it because I was too busy driving and make sure I didn't fall off the trailer. It's a little smoky without the stack on it, so that's all great. So, but it's here. It's ours. No warning lights. All good. And there goes the truck, just rolling down the road. Here she be, pop the trailer in our yard. It's a little diesel fuel smoky. So, we're predicting the injection pumps turned up just a hair. But overall, it started right up. Turnkey, go. So now I got to get it up the hill, over and into the barn, where it will sit until we have a chance to roll it into the shop and work on it. But I got to get the S10 out of the way first. So, but it's here in all its radiant glory. Alright, quick walk around tour here of the International 1086 that we just bought. This is an International 1086. Not sure what year. We bought it from a farmer over on the other side of a lake. Let's see, build plate says that this is the build plate for the rollover protection, nothing else. Okay, wrong build plate. I don't know what year it is. At any rate, it's an International 1086. Like I said, don't know what year on it. Fire's right up, no sweat. Hydraulic steering. If you look closely, you'll notice it's only got one battery compartment there is empty. And sorry, I'm being distracted by things in the background. Alright. So, yes, as I was saying, battery right there is empty, has one battery on the other side right now. Still starts like a champ. It's not that cold, but it is, you know, somewhere in the 40s, I think, today. Hydraulic steering, remanufactured engine in it, built by Springfield Remanufacturing Company. Which looks like that's, yeah, Springfield Remanufacturing Company and the injection pump. So hopefully we won't have any issues with that. It's got nice wide weather cracked tires on it. On the front, rear tires aren't in great shape, but they're good enough for us for a little while at least. Keep coming around. I think Logan's got a line on some duals, clamp on duals for this thing. We'll see if that pans out. 3-point arms on the back, 2 hydraulic remotes, and I'm sure with a little figuring you could make it multiple more. 1000 PTO, 540 PTO. Still need to look up if that's big 1000 or little 1000. Apparently, I learned this the other week when we went to pick it up, that there's 2 different versions of these PTO shafts. So I think the difference is the number of spline. Well, the diameter and the number of splines will tell you, so I could count that. Auxiliary fuel bladder on the side here, so it's the high, holds lots of diesel fuel version. Cab has seen better days for sure. It's got one LED work light on the back of it. Doors are a little rusted out. Handle does one of those. Doors don't latch because they don't close all the way. Well, they look like they close all the way from the outside, but the latch isn't making on the inside. Mechanic special. So, clutch is out of this. I just experienced it driving up the hill behind me to get up here into the yard. You can put it in low 1 or low 4 or high 1 or high 4. It goes faster in low 1 than it does in basically any other gear because the clutch is slipping really bad. So you try and make it move the thing too fast, ask it to produce too much torque, and the clutch just slips. You got to do in low, as low as it'll go. So I got to look at that belt drive right there because it's doing a weird wobble thing. I don't know if that's a problem or not. If I had to guess, I'd say the pulley's probably not quite square. It might be fine. So, but this is it. This is our new high horsepower tractor on the farm. It'll take some doing. Oh yeah, the exhaust pipe is currently sitting right there instead of up there because the manifold right there rusted out and it was coming off as the semi guy was transporting it. So he stopped, pulled it off the rest of the way, and strapped it to the trailer so he didn't lose it. And let me tell you, without the stack on it, all of the exhaust gases come out of the engine compartment and pour right into the cab. And it gets thick in there. So, for now, it's gonna go in that back corner of the barn. And then when we get space in the garage or the shop, we will drive it in there, split it in half right there, and get to the clutch on it and see what we can do. So that's how it's gonna go. So, but it's here and it's ours. It's got a lot of potential, but it's gonna take some work.
Alright, just for kicks and because I find it hilarious, gear shift down here, clutch in, pull it out of park, put it into low gear, low 1, go forwards. We move at, a modicum of ground speed here. It's not fast, but, clutch back in, we'll shift her down to low 4, now with the clutch out. You turkey. And it's going to work fine right now because I'm on a flat ground. So, alright, we're going to go into reverse and back it into the barn for now. Reverse, we're going to back it into the barn. I was hoping to show off the clutch slippage, but apparently it's not going to happen. Here, a little cast idle. Alright, let's do this without packing anything. Hang on, it's not in here. No, it's not. There we go. There we go. Alright, now, this thing is big, wide, and feels clumsy, even though it's not. Maybe it's kind of clumsy. It's probably not very clumsy, though. It should fit the barn. We measured, we looked. We managed to fit the Gleaner Combine in here, and if that fits here, this thing should fit in here. I got a hunch it feels bigger than it is, but I also don't want to hit anything with it because that would be bad. And clear now. And clear. And clear. Crank it. Come around, sir. Try and avoid running over the wood pile, the siding pile, and every other pile. Not quite going to clear that post. Oh, brakes. We would appreciate brakes. Need to clear this post and the lawnmower. I don't think we're doing. Alright, I'm putting the camera away, getting out, and we're going to walk around this a couple times, check and make sure we don't whack anything. See you guys once it's in here.
Alrighty. A little bit of finagling, some working, but it's in here. It fits. It ships. I forgot to check the height, but it fit no problem. We did measure it. It's only like 10 feet tall, so got it right up to the wall, about as close as I could get. Oh, as close as I felt comfortable getting. And there should even still be enough room right here to sneak the lawnmower in and out. One hopes. So, it's in. Put the other tractor back in here, and then we'll be all set. The barn will be stacked for at least a couple weeks. Alright, we're back over here by the old gleaner. I believe I mentioned earlier that the doors need to be opened on it. And it occurs to me, after being poked and prodded and, well, gently I got one reminder about it. But since I'm here, and it did just snow and might rain again next week, I should open the doors on it right away so that nothing gets trapped. So, that's as easy as pulling the over center latches. Oh, look, soybeans. Put that pin back in there. It doesn't quite flip up all the way to dump them because of that hinge right there. Yeah, those smell wonderful. And then we open these two latches and dump that one. Those ones are a lot cleaner. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Alright, and we'll just leave those open like that. And we'll probably come back and blow the beans off them. I don't remember. I think there's one more elevator on this side. Nope, no elevator on this side on this one. Only this side. You got the tailings return and the clean grain elevator. Alright, so those are open now. That means any water that gets into there, the augers are the low point. So any water that gets into the augers can drain out the sides here. So now we just need to tarp it. And then it'll be ready to go for winter, I think. So, oh no, wait, there's one other thing. We got to open the rock trap. That'll be fun. So, rock trap. On the gleaners, it's a big door on the bottom of the feeder house here. If I come around here, they have a special tool for popping it open. It's got a set of over center latches on it. And look, there's soybeans on the ground here. So if we come down here and look up this way, you can see that latch handle. We got to pry that down, and then the rock trap will, well, should just sort of fall down, but you got to fight it every time. So, and I'm doing this one-handed because I'm holding a camera in the other hand. That's one. Switch to the other hand. And I'm under here. The safety bar over there is in, so it's not coming down on top of me. Alright, that comes down. Then we grab the handle and we pull. And dump it like so. And you get all the leftover beans and dust out of there. Alright. Rock trap. I don't remember what it's technically called on this combine. Deer encase, I think, call it rock traps. Gleaner has a special name for it, but I don't remember what it is. So, the idea being, if you get a rock, because this thing's got the separator, because this thing's got the threshing set so far forwards. If you look inside here in the dark, flashlight. See those teeth back there? And then on the bottom there, hang on, let me see if I can get the laser pointer on this flashlight working. Come on. Maybe. Hang on. There we go. Nope. Right there, when I turn the light back on, you can kind of see one of the threshing bars. So the teeth right there rub the crop against the threshing bars on the bottom right there. So when this thing comes around, that door we just opened is right here. So if it comes around and there's a rock in there, it whacks the rock, pushes the rock down on the door, and those over center latches that I moved to open the door trip over. I'm talking with my hands and you can't see me. Hang on, let's do this. There we go, that's a little better. So the over center latches trip over and the rock gets spit out on the ground. The problem is, and you gotta watch it, because I did this with the K series, when that over behind the combine there was a cornfield last fall. I was combining it. I don't think I got a rock, but I think I pulled too much corn into the machine at once. It tripped the over center latches, the rock door opened, and then I did another like 2 passes in the field, 3 passes, might have been 4 passes. All of the corn that came into the machine fell right back out the bottom of the machine. Didn't get threshed, still on the cob, everything. It just came in, fell right back out on the ground in a nice windrow. So that was fun, because then I went around with the loader tractor, picked all the stuff up into the loader bucket, and then set the combine stationary, running, and chucked corn into the head to get it through the combine to shell out. That was a fun way to spend the evening. So, but that's the way the rock door works on this one, is you hit a rock, the cylinder smashes it right down through the door and back onto the ground right away. So it's nice in that you shouldn't be able to wedge the rock between the cylinder and the concaves. Rasp bars. They're rasp bars. You can't pin the rock between the cylinder and the rasp bars. The problem is if you don't catch it in time, you will wind up leaving a whole bunch of crop on the ground. Corn I could pick up. Soybeans would be a lot harder. So, but it would windrow the soybeans. So, but all right. So with that door open and then the 2 elevators open on the other side, that should be all the doors on the bottom of this thing open. So the only thing left is the clean grain tank. We need to tarp it or something up there so that it doesn't collect as much snow and rain. But this thing's getting ready to go for winter. And then over the course of winter, we've got to go through and over the course of winter, we got to go through and fix all of the things on it. So I need to sit down and make myself a big list of projects to work on this winter. But this thing needs the chopper's got to get put on the back of it. Got to fix the flasher for the turn signals on the 4-ways, because the lights come on, but they come on solid when you turn the turn signal on. When you hit the 4-ways, nothing comes on. Need to put some LED work lights on it. Need to get the road lights up here at the top of the cab, up in the corners there pointing forwards. Need to get them working, because I think right now they don't work. You've only got the lights pointing down. These guys on the bottom here pointing down to the head. The 2 up in the corners I don't think are working right now. I know the red taillights on the back of it, I think one of them works. So it's got some work. It needs lights. It needs lighting work, so electrical stuff. The chopper probably should put new knives on it and then mount it on the combine. And I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's something else that it needs. The tattletale system probably needs to go through, because some of the sensors aren't reading right. So, and we want to see if we can reconfigure the cylinder height here. This is the adjustment to change the space between the cylinder and the rasp bars. And we want to see if we can change this adjustment to get the adjustment screw up here, because when there's a header on here, the header sits right here, and you can't get between the tire and the header to get here to adjust it. So you got to take the head off anytime you want to adjust the cylinder spacing. So, and then we got to fix wiring for a couple of the tattletale sensors isn't working, and I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting. Got to look at the air conditioning. That's probably fine. Should really inspect the heat because we're doing corn this next year, and we might be combining in the cold. So, it's a work in progress, but it's a good work in progress. So, and then I got the tractor that we just got to work on too. Oh yeah, and there's a little light right there on the tailings auger to drop down there so you can see what's going through there. I don't think that light works either. And we got to fix the wiring down here for the head for the variable speed reel. Something's messed up with that. That sped up once while Logan was combining, and then it wouldn't slow down again. So we got to fix that. It's going to be a project. So, but all more stuff to come. So I'm going to go back to working on my ramp for a couple of hours, and then I got a meeting I got to go to. So we will see you people later if I make decent progress on. Alright, after a little bit of welding and a little bit of grinding, now on the 3 points where it's welded, it ain't, incredibly pretty, but it's at least filled in so it's smoother, and it's a little harder to tell that there was a saw cut there. So, most of the load's supported in this piece here, not in the webbing on the edges. So, Mark did a really good job penetrating this piece. So, he told me if it ever cracks again, it'll crack right next to the weld instead of on the weld. And I tend to believe him, because he's been welding darn near close to longer than I've been alive. So, I go sand this down, smooth it out a little bit, throw some primer on it, and then throw some paint on it, and do a second coat of paint tomorrow, and then return to owner. That's the plan. So I think I'm gonna sign off for the night here, folks, and we'll see what the next video brings.